Welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. You know how this works. We take one piece of listener-submitted content and really, dig into it.
Exactly. No stone unturned.
Today, we're looking at a review. It's for this movie, The Outrun.
Okay.
And Saoirse Ronan stars in it. It came out in 2024.
Give me 24, yeah.
So pretty recent.
Recent, yeah.
One of our listeners sent this in from a site called MovieKaTicket. Have you heard of it?
I have, yeah. They have a website and an app, too, I think.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they have, reviews and discussions and all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyway, this review for The Outrun just really caught our eye. This movie just sounds so powerful.
It does, yeah.
So we're diving into it. We're going to look at the themes and, everything, really.
Oh, good.
Well, one thing that really jumps out from the review is the setting.
Okay, yeah.
So it takes place in two very different locations, London and the Orkney Islands.
Wow, okay, so bustling city versus remote islands?
Yeah, exactly. And the reviewer really emphasized how this contrast kind of reflects what's happening with Rona, the main character, played by Saoirse Ronan.
Interesting.
London represents this sort of chaos and turmoil, maybe mirroring her struggle.
Oh, nice.
But then she ends up in rehab, and ultimately, in the Orkney Islands, it's described as this stark, beautiful landscape.
Right.
And the reviewer even called the cinematography breathtaking.
Well, I can see why. I mean, I've never been, but the Orkney Islands just sound visually stunning.
Right. So how do you think this setting, this change from the city to these islands plays into the story?
Well, to me, it sounds like the islands become a place of healing for Rona. You know, escaping the chaos of London lets her confront her inner demons and find some peace.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It's almost like the landscape itself becomes a character, this force that pushes her towards recovery.
Absolutely. And that visual contrast can be so powerful in film. You know, using those wide open shots to emphasize a character's isolation, or in this case, maybe a sense of freedom.
Mm-hmm, totally. And I think most of us can relate to that on some level. Have you ever been to a place that just, I don't know, evokes such strong emotions, almost like the place itself had a story to tell?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think we all have those places that stick with us, right? For me, it's this little bookstore I used to go to as a kid. It was crammed with books from floor to ceiling, and it always smelled like old paper and coffee. Just thinking about it brings back this flood of memories.
Oh, that's awesome. And now I kind of want to visit a cozy bookstore.
You should. They're the best.
All right, well, moving on to Saoirse Ronan's performance. The reviewer uses some pretty powerful words to describe it. Vulnerable and fiercely determined. What do you think of when you hear those words?
Well, Saoirse Ronan just has this incredible ability to bring so much depth and nuance to her roles. She's such a talented actress.
Totally. And those two words, vulnerable and fiercely determined, those kind of sum up a lot of her performances.
Exactly. Think about Lady Bird, for example. That was such a powerful performance. She perfectly captured that mix of vulnerability and determination as a teenager trying to find her place in the world.
Yeah, Lady Bird was great. You know, it makes me wonder if she brings a similar energy to this role, to Rona in The Outrun.
I wouldn't be surprised. It seems like a role that would require that same depth of emotion and complexity.
Oh, absolutely. And, it's not just Saoirse Ronan who's getting praise in this review. They mention other great actors in the cast, too.
Oh, really? Like who?
Let's see. They specifically mention Papa Essiedu, Saskia Reeves, and Stephen Delane.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive lineup.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It definitely sounds like a strong ensemble cast, which can really add to a film's impact.
Oh, for sure. It's like when you have a talented supporting cast, it just adds this layer of authenticity and depth to the whole story. You really believe in the world they've created.
Totally. Okay, so we've talked about the setting, the actors. Now let's get to the storytelling itself.
Yeah.
This is where it gets interesting. The reviewer mentions that the film jumps back and forth between Rona's past and present.
Okay, so it's not a straightforward narrative.
Right. They actually described it as a story told in waves, which I thought was a really cool way to put it.
A story told in waves? That's interesting.
I know, right? It makes me think of how memories work.
Yeah.
They're not always linear. We often experience them in fragments and flashes.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes a scent or a song can suddenly transport us back to a specific moment in time.
And that's what I think this film is trying to do.
Yeah.
To mirror that fragmented nature of memory and trauma, to make us feel what Rona is feeling as she tries to piece together her own story.
That's fascinating. It reminds me of a film called Memento. Have you seen that one?
Yeah, it's been a while though.
Well, it uses a similar technique, but even more extreme. The protagonist has short-term memory loss, so the story is told in reverse chronological order. It's like you're experiencing the world through his fragmented perception, which can be super disorienting, but also really effective.
Oh, wow. Now I need to rewatch that. Okay, so it seems like the Outrun uses this non-linear storytelling technique to really delve into the complexities of trauma and recovery. And it also touches on another powerful theme.
What's that?
The healing power of nature.
Ah, yes.
You know, the reviewer mentioned how the film explores how being in nature can help restore Rona's spirit.
That's a really interesting idea. Do you think there's any truth to that?
I think so. I mean, haven't you ever felt a sense of calm or clarity after spending time outdoors? Like, even a simple walk in the park can sometimes shift your perspective.
Yeah, definitely. It's like nature has this calming effect on us. It helps us connect with something bigger than ourselves.
Right. And maybe that's what draws Rona to the Orkney Islands. It's like she's seeking that connection with nature, that chance to heal and find peace.
It seems like the Outrun is using these stunning landscapes to represent a kind of like a pathway to healing and self-discovery for Rona.
I think you're right. And you know what else is great? It's not just about Rona's journey, right? It's also a film that invites us, the audience, to reflect on our own lives.
Exactly, like how we deal with our own struggles, our own traumas.
And how we seek solace. And also, like, just appreciating the power of nature and art and how they can help us heal.
I love that.
Oh, and before we forget, this awesome review came from MovieKaTicket.
Right.
So if you're a movie buff and love reading reviews or discussing films, you should definitely check out their app and website.
It sounds like a great resource for film lovers.
Okay, so to wrap things up, it sounds like The Outrun is a must-watch. This visually stunning film takes us on a roller coaster of emotions as we follow Rona's journey of recovery and self-discovery. Oh, and remember, the MovieKaTicket reviewer gave it a 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Wow, that's a great rating.
Oh, I know, right? So we highly recommend checking it out. And as always, we want to leave you with something to think about. The film emphasizes how nature can be a catalyst for healing. What about you? What are some of your go-to ways to find peace and restore your spirit? Let us know. And until next time, happy watching.
Happy watching.